Hello Wastelanders and welcome to the video. Coming September 3rd is one of the biggest updates to ever hit Fallout 76. So big it will change the way we play the game completely. With Season 18, players will now be able to choose the specific legendary effects that they have on their gear. Now getting a god roll is as simple as crafting it yourself. How does this new legendary crafting system work? Legendary weapons and armor will now be scrappable, giving you a small chance to receive a legendary box mod of one of the legendary effects that you scrapped, or an even smaller chance to learn how to craft one of the box mods themselves. With this game-changing event more than 2 weeks away, what are some ways that you can prepare? The best way that I have found to prepare for this new event is to stockpile legendary items. Having a mule, a secondary character created solely to hold extra items, will be the best way to store these until they are needed to be scrapped. From here, you have two options. Option 1, get this character up to level 50 so they can equip the proper weight reduction armor, or Option 2, roll level 20 armor until you get 4 or more separate pieces with weight reduction on them. A quick note here, reduction in weight has a cap at 90%, so equipping 5 pieces of weight reduction armor will only give you a maximum of 90% reduction. My personal preference is to equip 4 of these pieces and then equip every weapon weight reduction perk available. Here's a list of all available perks. With 4 pieces of weight reduction armor on, only 1 rank of each perk will be necessary, but if you want to skip that altogether, just throw another piece of armor on. The maximum weight a single character can hold is 1,500 pounds over their carry capacity. Increasing this limit with Excavator or Union Power Armor are great ways to increase your maximum carry capacity up to almost 2,000 pounds. So rolling a set of Excavator Power Armor with weapon rate reduction is always a good idea. Now that you have your mule set up, the next thing that you want to focus on is your loot. The obvious thing to do would be to store 3-star items only. These items will give you 3 chances at a legendary box mod or learning the mod. For me personally, I always have an abundance of power armor, so I will be farming these items when the update is live, since these are the heaviest out of all the legendary gear. Keeping weight in mind though, whatever you decide to stockpile, make sure that you choose the lightest items possible to maximize storage space. From our current understanding of how legendary cores will be transferred into the new system, each core that you have will be converted into 1 script. A complete waste in my opinion. If you are someone like Mr. Morp who has thousands or more of these cores, it is most likely a good idea to use them before the update. Of course, you could roll for god rolls, but personally, I find the most beneficial choice here to roll as many low-weight 3-star items as possible to scrap in the future. For example, I chose pipe pistols as they are easy to craft and also the lightest weight weapon that I could find in the ranged class. Something very important to note here that many may overlook. If you are stockpiling either ranged or melee weapons, keep in mind that certain effects are not obtainable on a melee weapon, such as quad, 2-shot, and explosive. The same goes for melee weapons, for example, increased power attack and also damage reflection while blocking. And of course for armor and power armor. Unyielding cannot be obtained on power armor legitimately, such as Mr. Westtech's latest video, so stockpiling power armor will give you about a 0% chance of unlocking the unyielding legendary effect. It may be a good idea to aim specifically for a certain type of weapon or armor. If not, the good old-fashioned hoarder approach will work just fine. A method that Angry Turtle plans to use is to craft named legendary weapons, such as the Medical Malpractice, and scrap them for their guaranteed legendary effects. This will be perfect for any Fallout 1st member who has an abundance of junk, and any non-casual player who has an abundance of legendary modules sitting around. Now that you have an idea of what items you will be hoarding, let's talk about the best ways to get them. The community's favorite and soon-to-be nerfed Eviction Notice is one of, if not the best way to get legendary items, currently granting up to 20 legendary items at a time for a single event, a perfect way for any player to prepare for this update. Every 20 minutes, a public event occurs. World hopping until you find Eviction Notice every 20 minutes is a good start for your grind. You can multiply the effectiveness of this method with multiple players searching multiple servers at once, signaling to the others when they find this event. The next notable way to grind legendary loot would be my personal favorite, the most sensational game expedition, being completable in about 5 to 10 minutes and granting up to 6 legendaries when completing all secondary objectives. A method to push this to its maximum efficiency would be to have 4 players running the expedition on separate teams simultaneously. Then, once they complete their expedition, instead of leaving with Lennox, everyone joins one team and completes the expedition. Since each player has their own expedition saved to their account, simply making another player the team leader and jumping into their expedition will allow you to complete it again for the whole team, effectively increasing your 6 legendaries every 5 to 10 minutes all the way up to 24 legendaries every 5 to 10 minutes. Without a doubt, making expeditions the #1 spot to grind legendaries. But if Bethesda is planning on nerfing Eviction Notice, and they ever watch this video, they may patch that out, so my apologies in advance. To explain what we know about this update so far, legendary cores will no longer be needed in crafting. Instead, these will be replaced with legendary modules for event rewards. Players will be able to roll a regular weapon into a legendary weapon a singular time, but will be unable to re-roll these effects now. These effects can only be changed with legendary module boxes. These legendary box modules, after being learned, will be craftable at the cost of legendary modules and an additional material, such as, but not limited to, specific junk items like floater sacks, mutation serums, and other food and aid items. I will link Nukanite's list of these materials that are known so far. This change will make many useless items now more valuable than ever. The legendary script limit will be raised from 6,000 all the way up to 11,000. Something a little disappointing is that the price of legendary modules will increase from 50 to 100 script at the Rusty Pick. Some all-around good news is that legendary modules will now be considered junk, so they can now be stored inside of a Fallout First member scrap box. A very important note is that these items are still untradeable and undroppable, so there is no need to worry about dropping them upon death. Some important closing notes. Weapons that were formerly considered legacy, such as laser weapons with explosive effects, will now be able to be crafted once again. With the new combat rebalance, Bethesda seems to be reducing the restrictions around legendary crafting and legendary weapon effect availability, opening the possibilities for some very interesting new weapons. If you add a specific legendary effect though, this will make the item untradeable, something very important to keep in mind. Also, if you're planning on creating these legendary box mods, creating a 1-star box module will cost 15 legendary modules, creating a 2-star will cost 45 legendary modules, and creating a 3-star box will cost 90 legendary modules. A little extreme if you ask me. Overall, I'm excited about the new update. It will at least give us something to do to prepare for the new content that's promised to be more difficult than ever. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And as always guys, thank you so much for watching.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement.